we just had this idea. So we were going in fresh-faced, no idea how to do anything. We had 2 prototypes. The first one went completely wrong.
Completely.
Because, you know,
it was disgusting, honestly.
It looked like a sofa.
Yeah. it was the
so spongy.
It was the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm not even joking.
And we're like, oh no. Okay. How the hell are we going to do this? I'm Charlotte Bingham-Wallace, and I'm with my business partner, Maria Costa.
Hello!
And we are the founders of an accessories lifestyle company called FromBelo. Bello is a company that focuses all around kindness. So we try and be kind to the environment by only using recycled products where possible, and then we also work with artisans who are all paid above the living wage to create our accessories and our lifestyle products. And every product that we sell, we donate meals to the homeless and in need in the same city as where our artisans are. So we try and work on, as we rise, we lift others, and we lift others within that community. So we're trying to work with the community to build it up, to make them stronger. 2006, Maria came over to the UK through an Erasmus programme to learn English, and that's when we became friends, and we've kept in touch ever since. And I went over to South America to go and volunteer and go travelling in 2015.
Yeah.
And was really struck by the poverty that you see like on the streets. It was quite upsetting, and I was working with children with neurological conditions in the slums, and was just like, geez, like this is terrible. Like when you're working at NHS, which I had done for years, you kind of become accustomed or take for granted what you get automatically living in this country, whereas a lot of people don't get those luxuries, and not even the food or the nutrition to heal. And that's where I went and spoke to Maria and was just like, oh, like I really want to do something. And Maria had already set up her own t-shirt clothing company where she was helping clothe children in the slums, or the favelas that they call them in Brazil.
Yeah.
Which was such a cool idea. And so we started off as deciding, hey, what can we do, like to do something to help these people. I really wanted to join in, and we both have a love for handbags and accessories, so we're like, why don't we make a bag that gives back? And when we went down that route, we started off as a social project, wanted to give back. Then we learned about, there's a lot of people who lost their jobs through globalization from Brazil. They just couldn't compete with price.
People that are backpacking, they only take a backpack, and they can't have lots of things. So we thought we need to design a bag that is practical and functional. And that's what it was one of your pains, wasn't it, when you were traveling? Because you didn't have one bag that you can go from day to night, from like exploring town to a club. And we
nothing that was flexible.
Yeah, and a bag that it would be hard to pickpocket as well. So we thought, let's develop something for the woman that is backpacking by herself and wants to be independent and conquer the world, that was one of
really strong thing that we wanted to achieve. And then once we came up with the design, we were looking into manufacturing and production, and we realised, I don't know if you've seen Stacey Dooley's Fashion's Dirty Secrets, or Lucy Seagull's program, what's that one called on Netflix?
Oh, True Cost.
Yeah, the True Cost. When we were learning about the production, we realised, how dirty fashion could be, or how traumatic it could be to communities and to the environment. And that's when we decided that we wanted to try and do something that, wasn't so toxic to the environment. Yeah. And that's where we looked at recycling. And we started off with plastic bottle fabric and using, end of season leather, dead stock leather. And now we've gone into seat belts, and we're looking into other materials, constantly trying to look at different materials that aren't, which are taking things from landfill rather than, making more waste products that would end up in landfill.
No. Designing clothes and bags are extremely different. Honestly, massive learning curve, massive.
So I went back to college in London and did some short courses on bag design and on pattern cutting and bag manufacturing, and we've always been quite artistic. And so Maria and I, she's really good at sourcing materials and looking at pattern and print, and then we work together on shape, and then I put it into a pattern and pattern cut it, and then that's how we develop our collection.
A lot of teamwork.
Yeah. Which lots of people we spend too much time together.
Like designing the product, it was hard, but it was the easiest part compared to the other struggles that we had. So first struggle is manufacturing. So we were looking for a manufacturer, and in Brazil, it's really hard to find someone that wants to work with you when you're new. So Charlotte came in November, because we wanted, we're going to work so much, we're going to have our first prototype and production. It's going to be amazing. And then I think we spoke to 6 or 7 manufacturers. No one wanted to work with us.
Yeah, no one.
They were like, no, sorry, don't have time for you. No.
We were like, yeah, okay, we know what shape we want, we know what we want to do. Trying to find manufacturers. I think it was the last week we found a manufacturer.
It was the last week.
And it was a guy who used to own his own massive manufacturing building out in Brazil, and he'd lost it all due to people going to China, Paraguay for cheaper work. And so we went and found him. He was working in a repair shop, and he said, yeah, I'll work with you guys. And we were like, yes. The first, we had 2 prototypes. The first one went completely wrong.
Completely.
Because,
it was disgusting, honestly.
It looked like a sofa.
Yeah. It was the ugliest
so spongy.
thing. It was the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm not even joking.
And we're like, oh no. Okay. How the hell are we going to do this?
You have no idea of nothing at all.
I didn't even know who our market was. So we were creating this bag, and we didn't even know who were creating. We kind of did. We were creating it for us, the travelling girls who want to look nice on a night out. But we hadn't done any market research. We hadn't done any. We didn't have any brand name. We hadn't done any branding. We didn't. We just had this idea. So we were going in fresh-faced, no idea how to do anything. We hadn't even done an Instagram or anything to set up to see whether people liked what we're putting out there.
Sometimes you get so many no's that you start doubting your product, you start doubting everything, maybe this wasn't the right thing to do. You constantly doubt yourself when you are in a business. But with Bello, it was something that was that I am really emotionally invested in. So hearing the no's and getting a lot of doors shut in your face, and a lot of people that don't want to work with you or don't want to buy your product or tell you that it's not going to work, is really hard. So I struggled a long time with anxiety, depression. I think it's worse when you're with friends though, because if you fail, they know, you're facing them every day, with that I failed, all over your forehead. Yeah. So for me at least, I think that it's the worst, because if it's strangers, it's I'm not going to see them again, but your friends, you're there, and you go through that shame. For me, it was all about being ashamed of not being good enough. And
I think it was for me, designing, it's a dream. Something that I've always wanted to do is to design something, and it's something I've always wanted to do when I was at school. And for, when it's your dream, and then if people turn around and say, oh no, you're really bad at it, or you know, or you shouldn't do that. I think that was like a massive like fear factor for me, because it's something that's so personal. Hard because you're not getting anywhere. We've finally, for like the past year, so it's taken probably about 2.5 years to get to this point. And you know, like getting to this point is, you can see the light, you can see that things are going to work and things are gonna happen, but it's taken 2.5 years to get to here. And you know, for me, I was locuming as a physio, living in different cities just to earn the money to be able to do this and have the flexibility to do this.
I think for me the biggest sacrifice is with my boyfriend, you know, because I have to work a lot, and I have, you know, I can't, we can't be, like, he lives in England, I live in Brazil, and we haven't seen each other for 7 months. You don't sleep well, you know, you have to work too late, and it takes a toll on your health as well, you know. And emotion, for me, the biggest sacrifice is the emotional roller coaster as well.
Time with my friends and family. Like most of my friends, I've moved back in with my mum and dad, and I have some really amazing like friends around like where I live. And where I used to live in Bristol, like, I've got some of my favourite people in the whole world that live there, and I see them about twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, and you kind of feel like a constant letdown, and then you're like, I can't come because I've got like I'm doing a work thing for Bello. I guess, you know, the same thing happens with your family and family dues and stuff like that. And then the other big sacrifice for me is probably cutting down the time that I do physiotherapy, and which is a hard thing to do when you've been doing it for so many years and you suddenly take a different career path. It's something I struggled with for a bit of time, but I love what we do, and I love like the effect that we're having and the impact that we're having with recycling and with, you know, helping people and doing this whole social project on the side of our business. And it really feels like we can make a really big positive impact through making these bags environmentally and socially. So, you know, it breaks my heart like not seeing my friends as much and not seeing my family as much, but you know, I feel like we could make a really big difference.
My biggest fear is failure. It's really scary to fail, but now I understand that failing is important. Even if you fail, like we failed so many times in so many ways.
There's been a lot of tears on this journey.
And now we know better, you know. We know better, like we know how to deal with criticism, we know how to deal with all the feedbacks that we get, positive and negative, and it's all part of the learning curve. But it's very scary and it's very hard.
When you first start out, you think, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm just a physio, I'm not a bag designer, what am I gonna do, like how am I gonna do this? But I think that's something that, you know, with time you go, actually, what people might be trained in this and they might be better at this than me, but they might not go at it the same aspects, they might not look at things in the same way, and maybe that's how we can do things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And I think it's just having that we've learned how to have like such an open mind and maybe not be so like negative on us or hard on ourselves, because I think when we started we were just like getting all the no's, getting all everything, and you think, oh, I don't know anything. But actually we've learnt it, and it's been like the education of life.
Yeah.
Has been or the university of life. And we're like, oh, shall we? we're like, well, I think we both were like, I don't know if we're ready for this, and they won't like our bags, and we won't do this, but we're just like, what the hell? Let's just go for it and then see what happens. Never imagined that anything would come for it, and
never ever.
And the week before, we got this amazing telephone call to say that we were finalists. I remember calling Maria and I was in tears. You know, just getting that recognition as a finalist was one of the biggest confidence boosters that we've ever had. It was amazing. And we then flew out to New York and went to the awards, and we didn't win, but it felt like we'd won anyway. Just meeting people and people saying that our bag was beautiful, and you know, being recognized in like an area which is full of professional bag designers, and there were people from Guess, there was people from Vogue and Hobo. Like 1 week I was really low, and then we got this phone call the week after, and we were like, oh my god,
yeah,
we're finalists.
Because it just shows that people, because you never know if you're doing the right thing or not, and then if you have like the handbag design people, they saying that, you know, we like your product, we think that it's actually one of the best products in the world. You're like, okay,
oh thanks,
okay.
I love what we do, and I love like the effect that we're having and the impact that we're having with recycling and with, you know, helping people and doing this whole social project on the side of our business. And it really feels like we can make a really big positive impact through making these bags environmentally and socially.
All of the people that work for us and the volunteers that we work with, they're all our friends. I have them all on WhatsApp. I talk to them. I send them photos of Charlotte and I while we're here. You know, we're sending back lots of chocolate because they want to, you know, try English chocolate. Yeah. So you need to create a good atmosphere around you, and I think that we're doing that. Since I was a little girl, apart that I want to be a policeman or a lorry driver. I really wanted to be a police or a lorry driver. I always wanted to have my business, you know, and to be like the independent, powerful woman, you know, like arriving in a meeting and, you know, just, I always craved that. And I always wanted to live in England since Harry Potter, really. And it's true, I always wanted. So for me, sometimes, like, I look back and I'm like, I can't believe I'm following my dreams. I don't want to have an Oprah moment, but it's very emotional.
Just go for it, hon. I love the Oprah
moment. It's very emotional when you realize that you're actually doing what you really wanted. You know, that's so rewarding. Yeah, I'm so happy. For me, that's so rewarding that I'm doing what little Maria, you know, that realized she couldn't be a lorry driver, but I also have a business. I'm, you know,
you
following.
You can be Bello's lorry driver.
I could, yes. I think the other rewarding thing is getting to know all these amazing people along the way.
Yeah.
We amazing professionals. Our ethos is kindness, and we created a loving, kind environment around us in a market that is not always so kind. You know, and with the volunteers that we work with, and you know, I love the relationship that I have with them, and they teach us so much, and they are so amazing, and they have a big heart. It gets emotional when you realize that you're doing what you always wanted to do, when helping people along the way, you know, and the environment. Even though it's a little bit, it's not like 2,100 bottles is going to change the world, but
in the future it might.
No, and I think it's little steps. We're doing what we can, you know?
Definitely. And I think, like, when I was younger, it sounds really cheesy, but I always wanted to help people. I nearly went to design school and nearly went and followed that path because I was really passionate about art and design. but decided to go down physiotherapy route instead because I really wanted to help people. And now we're doing something where we're being innovative, we're creating something new, but we're actually helping people and we're helping the environment. You know, like you said, it's only small steps, but if we can grow, we can maybe make a bigger impact. Like, who knows how big it could be, but that would be amazing. We've got some really exciting things which are coming up this next year, and where we are working with some amazing people, making some new materials that we don't think exist at this moment in time out of recycled materials. So like I hope that we're classed up there as being an innovative company, you know, that think outside the box. We're challenging different materials. I'd love us to be tied with a university and working with developing new materials, and I think that would be really, really cool. As well as, you know, on the selling front, I hope that we're out in shops and where, you know, people recognise us as a name.
And even structure the charity that we're helping, you know?
Yeah, they've got so many things they want to do.
I just want us to have a good impact.
I think that would be like the most amazing thing, you know, like saying you started now, we're donating meals, but then, you know, because we've been able to fund that, maybe we can help fund other things in the future, you know, who knows, education, things like that. And you can see that one person that you've worked with from the beginning going off on that personal experience, and then they've got a job and they're actually able to support themselves and maybe even give back to the charity later on. Like, that would be incredible to see.
I think the first product never survives the market. So like the only way for you to test is to actually do it and see what's up, you know, because you can plan, sorry the word, like the shit out of something, and then you realize that it's not at all what you planned. We have
you can spend years writing a business plan. Like,
it's not, you need to get your minimum viable product and put it out there and see what happens.